Hello, welcome to Cinema Crusaders, that show where we look at movies that are at least 10 years old or older, and we decide how well everything holds up from a modern perspective. And I'm your host, Shadewing. Steve Sellers is my actual name. And today we're going to be looking at a Christmas classic, or at least a Christmas classic if you interpret Christmas movies a little differently. And it's still a little bit debated, and that is Die Hard. Yes, we are looking at the classic Bruce Willis movie from 1988, and we're going to get right into it. But first, I will introduce my co-host for today, and that is Mike Nunneley, my partner in crime over at Omen Publications, Revelation Publications, and everything else we do. The author of a novel that I edited called The Dread, and I am going to welcome him to you right now. Hello, Mike.
Hey. I'm doing pretty good. I just want to say I have heard a couple of celebrity takes on whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie recently.
Okay.
From Bruce Willis specifically. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. It is an effing Bruce Willis movie.
He's not wrong about that. It is the archetypal Bruce Willis movie, in fact. Yes.
Right. And
what was the other one?
Macaulay Culkin. He said that it was not a Christmas movie because it could take place on St. Patrick's Day and still be the same. But I found a hole in this theory.
I think there are a couple. Go into it.
But the one that happened to jump out at me at this last particular watch was the packing tape that was everywhere. Now, sure, there might be a division like in the mailing room where there is packing tape. Okay, but sitting around in the office, packing tape tends to suggest maybe some gift wrapping. Yeah.
I mean, and the other thing also is like there are a couple of points where the fact that it's Christmas comes up both in the dialogue and in the story proper, because the whole thing about I give you a Christmas miracle, Theo. I mean, opening the vault that doesn't work any other day of the year.
That's true.
Yeah, and and the whole thing that it takes place at a Christmas party, and also why is Bruce Willis there? Like he's there to meet with his family at Christmas.
That's a good point. You're not gonna get any successful company to get together and throw a St. Patrick's Day party.
No,
that's not going to happen.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like, yes, Christmas is definitely a part of the movie. I wouldn't say that it's a Christmas movie in the traditional sense, the way we've talked about it with Scrooged. It's not one of those kinds of movies. It is absolutely an action movie. But I would say, like at the very least, there's enough of Christmas in the movie to make it count as one.
I say this: not all Christmases are merry and cheer. Not everybody has families to go to or friends to spend it with. So bad things happen on Christmas, which is why I say even Lethal Weapon is a Christmas movie. It takes place during Christmas, and that's part of the reason why Marty is so depressed. So I'm just saying, it doesn't have to have Christmas spirit or a Christmas message. There are other feelings that accompany Christmas, is all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And also, I have a machine gun, ho, ho, ho. That's the kind of thing that only works at Christmas. Like, I just thought that was perfect.
I'm not sure Aaron Go Bra would have worked as well as ho, ho, ho.
No, I don't think so. No. I can kind of see some of the argument for it, but I just feel like there is a definite Christmas flavoring in there that you can't really divorce in the movie.
I will even suggest that there is a bit of dialogue that might hint at the fact that even though it's not a traditional Christmas movie, it might be. When they're in the car and dude starts playing the what was it? The oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't remember the name. He starts playing that rap song for Christmas in Hollis, Queens. Mm-hmm. He starts playing that, and Bruce Willis says, don't you have any Christmas music? And he says, this is Christmas music.
Christmas music. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I will say, like, a lot of Christmas music tends to be a little cringy. But definitely that was not. That was not. All right.
Can't believe I can't remember the name of that band though. Jeez, I feel like such a dork.
I can't either. I mean, but what are your general thoughts on the movie before we really start diving into it?
I think it is a timeless classic. I mean, I've been watching that movie for many years now, on a yearly basis even, and I don't ever get tired of it. It doesn't ever feel like, I mean, there are some things that might even seem outdated in the movie itself, but I don't ever watch that feeling like, well, this takes place in the past. It doesn't matter to me. It's still right. It's still right there. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, Sam, I will say, like, I haven't watched this every single year, but it is a Christmas tradition in my brother's house. And when I've had to go there for Christmas, believe me, we watched it. This and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation are like, kind of mandatory viewing over there.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, this is one of those movies where it's like, as an action movie, it is considered one of the greatest of all time. I mean, for very good reasons. Even if you take the Christmas elements out of it, it still holds up as that. And as the Christmas movie, I kind of feel like the fact that this is a man trying to reunite with his wife and his family, gives it enough of a Christmas texture to it that I think that, it's still one of those that you can watch as a Christmas movie and it's absolutely legitimate to me.
I honestly think though, and I'll tell you right now, I hadn't thought about it really, but I don't generally watch Die Hard when it's not Christmas season. So I don't know if it would even hit different if I watched it at a different time of year.
I have tried various times. I think it still holds up. Like, I don't think it necessarily requires you to watch it at Christmas. It's not like, some of the movies that we kind of discussed. It's not like The Family Man. It's not like some of the other things or Christmas Vacation. Yeah. Because those I kind of feel like, you have to watch it around like late November, early December. But Die Hard, I think, is such a good action movie, and it works so well as that if you just want to put it on and watch it as an action movie, like around July, it would still work. There are not a whole lot of movies you can say that about.
Right. I don't know how else to, I don't know how else to describe it. It is a timeless classic. It works every single year, and I think it's gonna work for decades to come.
Yeah, and I will say, before we start getting like into the writing of all of this, that this is one of those movies where you can definitely tell certain things are dated. Like, it is a very pre 9/11 movie.
Right.
And if you were not around before then, I mean, some of the stuff that goes on is going to seem a little weird. But when you kind of keep in mind that, this is a movie that came around around in the 90s, like late 80s, early 90s, 1988. It's just going to hit different, especially if you were around at the time.
Also, I would like to point out, just in defense of Californians in general, I am not just going to walk up to some random dude and kiss him. I don't care what season of the year it is. So his explanation that this was Californians doing this? No, this was one weirdo.
Well, I will say, if you got shot up a lot, and you were like, in a difficult situation with a guy who was in a building, you might hug him afterwards. But that's about it.
That's a totally different thing. That's a totally different thing. That guy, he was at the Christmas party. Remember, he was holding the bear, and he just walks up, grabs him by the face, and kisses him on the cheek, and he's like, Jesus, man.
I don't even know where your mouth has been. It's like, no, that's for Bonnie Cordelia. All right. So let's get into the storytelling. Like, we talk about how good this movie is as an action movie, but I don't think we've really talked about the story really in all that much depth. It is very much like Bruce Willis kind of walked in the middle of a heist movie, and he's on the other side of it,
right?
Essentially. And but that's not the way it looks at first. And I will say I kind of forgot because it's been a while since I've seen it. That yeah, these guys were like pretending to be terrorists, and the entire time was yeah, we just want to steal the money that's in your vault. We don't want any of this. We don't want to free all of our brothers, in Quebec and Ireland.
Right.
That's just like they were just kind of like the whole thing was this manufactured scheme by Hans Gruber, Alan Rickman's character, to set off this heist and try to disappear, faking their death afterwards so that, nobody would chase them down. And I will say, I didn't realize also, having looked at it, that it was actually based on a novel, like a late 70s novel. And they kind of adapted it. They changed quite a bit. Like they changed, like the John McClane character. But the basic setup, which is, New York cop goes to LA, to see his estranged wife, and hilarity ensues in the tower. That is all. That structure is all the same. But I kind of feel like Die Hard just from there just kind of took that and evolved into its own thing.
Oh yeah. In fact, if I recall from the making of thing, the actual writer of the novel was working on the project originally, and they started changing things so much that he left.
Yes. Yeah, the novel was called Nothing Lasts Forever, and the writer in question was Roderick Thorpe. I'm not really kind of familiar with him or the book, but I do find that interesting. There is definitely like a literary flavor, I think, to the structure of this when you start getting into it, and then it just kind of changes everything later.
Right. I thought I can't remember his name. The cop. They had that. There were a couple of moments in there that could have been cheesy, and the delivery of them did not come across that way. In particular, I'm talking about when Bruce Willis was talking about the needing to send the apology to his wife, and when the cop was talking about having shot that guy. That could, and those could have come across really cheesy, but were acted really, really well.
Yeah, and I will say that's also what I think kind of adds to the Christmas flavor of this movie. It's that whole relationship that he's trying to patch, and like how he kind of starts looking at himself a lot more and saying, yeah, maybe I was kind of a jerk at this point in time, and introspection and like doing what he needs to at least like meet her halfway. So yeah, this is kind of like one of those things that does dovetail into the Christmas themes.
They really gave a perfect example of that in their first meeting in her office. She's sitting there like saying, you know what, the kids would really like to have you at the home, and I'd really like to have you here, and I miss you. And she's like trying to do all this bond with you stuff, and he's like, well, let me bring up this fight we thought of a couple of months ago. And you know what I mean, like that was just the perfect frame for, well, this must be how the relationship is.
If it wasn't for the terrorists attacking the building, it would have been a Hallmark movie. Because everything was there. It's just basically like, yeah, it's this couple just trying to get back together, and then and it's just these terrorists keep coming in the way and getting in the way of everything, and all these explosions and people dying, and the boss getting killed.
Oh, and I will say, let me look at this real fast. We have talked a little bit, William Atherton. We have talked a little bit about punchable faces in the past, and even Holly McClane agreed.
Well, yes, she agreed. Yes, we know this because she actually punched him. I had forgot that she punched him. I was expecting that it was going to be John that was going to punch him.
Right?
What's kind
great
of like
is she punches
like
him
Commander
again in the second
style.
one.
Yeah. But it's like, and you can understand that because he endangered her child, like by putting her on the air. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. That totally made sense.
But imagine being William Atherton though, as an actor. You're the guy that everybody wants to punch in a movie. He did this in Ghostbusters. He did it in 2 Die Hard movies.
Real
you start
genius.
to be known for that. right?
Yeah. Well, like, yeah, like mostly like all I can't think of any characters he's played that are not like massive assholes. I
Right?
mean, he's so good at it though.
He
He's
does.
so good at it though.
He is good at it, but I mean, I wonder how many times he meets somebody and they go, "So, do you have no dick?"
Yeah, yeah. This man has no dick. That's true. Very, very true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It goes from God to Jerry to me. Yeah. I have to throw in a real genius reference. Like that's one of my favorite '80s movies. Like,
Right?
absolutely, Jerry Hathaway. But yeah, and he's not the only punchable face. Richard Davi, who was one of the heavies in the Goonies, is in this. Later on, he would be like more known for like FBI agents after this because this movie kind of popularized him in that role. But before that, he was he was like one of the Mama's enforcers in the Goonies. So that's where I remember him from.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. But he is a bit punchable. And then, of course, Ellis is like one of the most punchable characters in there, even if he's not the most punchable face.
Oh, well, yeah. Ellis is definitely yeah, he's not quite as punchable as Atherton, but
Yeah.
I mean, it there were at least a couple of moments when he was trying to talk to John over the phone in front of Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
And you just went, just shut up, man. Oh my God.
Shut the F up. Yeah, and it's like, it's very possible that, Gruber wouldn't even have realized that Holly was Bruce's wife if he hadn't opened his big damn mouth.
Right.
And
that's what made him look at the picture.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And like one of the points that I think DT Comics Chat had made not too long ago, was that this guy died in a very well-deserved way, and one of the most deserved ways there. I had to add that probably Carter Burke from Aliens is worse in terms of earning well-deserved deaths. But Ellis is like up there. It's very close.
You know what's funny is drawn name Paul. What is his name? Paul Reiser. Yeah. When he was sitting in the theater watching Aliens with his sister, she actually hit him.
Yeah.
So even his own sister wanted to hit him watching the movie. So and even his face isn't quite that punchable.
Yeah, right. Reiser. I mean, the thing is, Reiser normally is a pretty nice dude, and he's well known for playing nice dudes. It's just that he was so good at Aliens and playing a total sociopath. Ellis is not that bad. He's just more like a wheeler dealer, who's full of himself and he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. And I just love how Gruber deals with him. Like, he's like, you're a total idiot, but he's like condescending to him and playing into his ego.
Right.
I mean, I think we kind of from here need to talk about Gruber because he's got to be easily the most compelling character in this movie.
I got to agree with that. And just as a mention on something you said earlier, not only was it under the guise of terrorism that they were performing this robbery, it was a point of pride to him. Yeah. When he was just called a thief, he got offended.
Yeah.
Like, no, I am not a thief. I'm an exceptional thief.
Yeah.
And since I'm moving up to kidnapping, you might want to watch your mouth, or however it said that.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing with Gruber. He thinks he's an artist. Like he's an artist of crime. He's a master manipulator. He has everybody, including the FBI, wrapped around his finger because he kind of knows where they're going. Like he doesn't care about the cause at all. And to the extent that he was ever involved with the Volksfrei, I think it was just as a stepping stone to whatever his ambitions were. And what he really wanted was the money. But
you gotta wonder if there wasn't some kind of thing where he was part of that group because of the wanting to be an exceptional thief, and maybe that's
Yeah.
why they booted him.
Probably, yeah. I mean, because he definitely wasn't going along with their mission, and he didn't seem to need them, and they definitely didn't need him.
No.
So yeah, and I will say this guy is the most smooth, cultured, suave villain that you'll ever find on screen.
I have to ask about this, and I really don't get it. Hans Gruber walks into the room and he sees the model of what they're planning to do in Singapore or wherever it was they were doing it, right? And it says, and he looked upon the breadth of his kingdom, and I don't remember what it was. He cried because there was no more.
Yeah, he was talking about Alexander the Great.
Yeah, the Alexander quote. Yeah. And then he just kind of sits there pompously and says, the benefits of a classic education. I have no idea how saying that or how that benefited the moment at all or how that helped him at all. It had nothing to fucking do with it. You really trying to say that you looked at that model and said, that is the pinnacle of achievement? Really?
Yeah. I mean, he was probably talking about like the company in general, but to be honest, I just think that this was Gruber showing off and being an egotist. Like he's trying to show off, yeah, I'm the smartest guy in the room. Look at my classical education.
I guess it strikes me weird. It's like the same thing of like when I found out apparently knowing about mythology is supposed to be some kind of a high class thing. And I was like, I just fucking like the stories. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, how does knowing that Alexander the Great said that somehow reflect his greatness in any way? I don't get it.
Yeah, it doesn't. Now there was a time when knowing that stuff put you in the educated class, firmly. But we're talking like the 1500s and things like that.
Right? This was a long time ago.
Yeah. And I can understand like education would have been built on that, but especially nowadays, when you can just look it up on Wikipedia or ask Brock about it,
right?
You don't care. Like it's one of those things where they're just trying to show off like Gruber's character and also his ego. He has a massive ego.
Honestly, that one particular scene kind of turned me off a little bit there. I thought there's no. I like intelligent villains. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But tigers that feel like they have to let people know they're tigers bother me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. I think he's absolutely a fun villain, though, and I think what the thing with him is he's a great contrast to McClane, because McClane is absolutely the working class hero. He is salt of the earth. He is New York built and New York tough, and so you contrast it with this guy who is smooth and slick and well connected and well funded and knows all these guys in the Volksfrei and, is just that kind of smart in the classical sense. It's a perfect contrast. And you get a guy like Alan Rickman to play it, and I think he elevated the character that was on the page.
I honestly, my most the most impressed I was with Alan Rickman's performance was his ability to just slip right into an American accent and back to his own without even skipping a beat, just like he's breathing. Like it didn't even, you couldn't tell there was no accent or anything. And I know he's British, so I know American is not his standard, so I'm like,
yeah, he came in, I think he kind of came in knowing like, okay, if I run into this guy, he doesn't know what I really sound like.
Right.
So, and because he's a British actor, Alan Rickman knows exactly like how to switch from German to English to American.
Right, I forgot the German too.
Yeah. German.
Yeah, all the accents, they were perfect. I mean, they were just none of it didn't sound fluent. None of it didn't sound natural.
I don't know what it is about like British actors and particularly Shakespearean British actors, which I believe Rickman is. That they're just able to do these accents like on a dime. and it's just really hard for the reverse to happen. Like there are not many American actors who can nail a British accent that well.
No,
Like
you'd have
Johnny
to.
Depp is one that comes to mind, and there are like a couple others, and I can't. And
Yeah, it's a skill. I know for a fact that many actors and actresses that have had to do accents in movies have actually had to an instructor, had to teach them how to pronounce the words and how to use the syllables and stuff like that. And it just I don't know. I was just impressed with how easy it was.
Yeah, maybe that's Rickman's classical education showing. I don't know.
Right.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm starting to wonder whether Rickman ad-libbed that line.
I don't know. It's been a while since I watched the making of for that, but I don't recall that.
I don't recall it, but you know what? I could see him having said that. I could see him having done that.
Yeah.
I guess it's a thing we're going to have to look into a little bit more.
The only other thing I thought really maybe talked about maybe his arrogance, maybe his pride would be the suit thing.
Yeah, the suit, yes.
He commented on how nice the guy's suit was and says, "Yes, I have two myself." Like,
I have two myself.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't wear it I'm going to wear it on my next heist. Like, yeah, that's just how slick and Gruber is. But I mean, I think the one thing that kind of gets me, and I have very few issues with this movie, and really it's not a problem exactly. It's just one of those things that kind of raise my eyebrow. There are a lot of characters in this movie that are really stupid. And their stupidity is pretty much necessary for Gruber's plan to succeed.
Example.
Okay. So the lady at the dispatcher, hears gunfire going off. She's a cop. She hears gunfire going off. Okay, it might be a prank caller. Let's just send one guy over there. Like, you don't know what gunfire sounds like, and you're a cop?
Does it sound like I'm ordering a pizza?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's pretty much saying, yeah, this is an emergency. Like, it's like you're in LA. Don't tell me you can't spare more than one cop car and one guy. Jesus, come on.
Shit, her just insistence that this was a prank call, that did seem a little off, I suppose. Yeah.
And then you get the deputy chief of police, who's kind of a jerk, but that's fine. And then the FBI, who I mean, okay, these guys are by the book, conventional, and Gruber is anything but. He's probably dealt with the FBI before. He's probably studied their methods pretty thoroughly. So,
I would say so. He knew exactly what their terrorist playbook was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of interesting, like all of this sort of stuff. But it is a movie that definitely requires, people to not be very smart, or at least not be thinking outside of the box.
Also, I would like to say, I'm not a C4 expert, but I do know that it doesn't take a whole lot of C4 to create a whole lot of damage. The amount of C4 that they had under that roof would have blown the top quarter of that building off. I mean, it was just an entire level of just bricks and bricks and bricks. The fucking C4 brick road to Wizard of Oz. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That
would be a question to bring up to our good friend David Nemesis Howard when he's up to coming back, because that guy probably does know those things.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't notice that until last time I was watching it, and then I was like, that is a lot of C4.
Yeah. I mean, him or Bracey probably would know a little more about that than we would. So,
right.
And we wish them well, by the way, and hope they return soon. But so from there, are there anything else on the writing side you want to talk about before we move on?
Well, I guess just a casual comment that the I don't know how the novel was. I don't know enough
Mhm.
about it.
Sure.
But I will say that the writing for the film seems really good, and I genuinely love the story itself, however it turned
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Same. I think it still holds up really well. It is. I can absolutely understand why Ford walked away. Like, if he didn't see his novel properly on the screen and he thought that they were butchering it, or from whatever his intention was, I can understand that as a creator.
Right.
But this is one of those cases, and there are not many of them, but there are cases where they deviate from the novel, and it's still pretty damn good. Movies like this, movies like Blade Runner, movies like I'll even admit to Starship Troopers, where you and I disagree a little bit on it, but
Yeah.
but I will absolutely admit these are both valid takes on the source material, even if it's not exactly the same, and it's pretty noticeably different in a lot of ways.
So yeah, I think that's about my thing for the writing. I mean, well acted,
Yeah,
well
yeah.
casted. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's kind of talk about the casting. Are there any? We've already discussed Alan Rickman. Is
Right.
there anybody else you want to bring up? Because there are quite a few well-known actors in this movie.
Let's see. How about Reginald Bell Johnson?
Ooh, yes.
I
Al.
really like him. He was like I don't know. He was the perfect cop to have on there. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
the whole beginning scene with I like how they set this up, and I don't know how many people correlate these two things, but at the beginning when he buys all the Hostess Twinkies,
Yeah.
right? And he's like, "They're for my wife," and the guy's like, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah.
Right. And then later on, when John takes a bite of that 100-year-old Twinkie and he's like, "Oh, this is gross. What are they putting these things?" And he's able to tell you exactly every ingredient that they put in a Twinkie.
Yeah, this is kind of like the movie that got him typecast as a cop in every single movie in the '90s, and then which led to him getting Family Matters. So, I mean, I can't really complain about that. I mean, that's just the role that he was born to do, and he
He
does
does
it
it
really,
very
really
well.
well.
It's
Um,
believable. You get that. You get that. This is just a family man doing his job. Kind of vibe from him.
mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
And I like that he had an arc as well. It's an
Mm.
understated one, but he definitely has one, which is like he talks to Bruce about, oh yeah, I shot a kid. It was a mistake, and I feel terrible about it. And this is why I haven't drawn my gun on a suspect in years. And
Right.
what ends up happening at the end of the movie, he sees his friend being attacked by Carl, who magically comes back from being,
A little
choked with a
inexplicably,
chain.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but you know what? It's kind of like one of those things where, okay, let's give Al this moment, and he takes that moment for everything he's worth, and he freaking shoots him dead. And you don't
Five
expect that.
times he shoot him.
Yeah, you generally expect that John is going to be the one to kill him, and that's why when he comes back, it's surprising. And then what even works even better is that, yeah, you get the payoff of that arc and that guilt that he has. Like, no, I'm going to shoot this guy to protect my friend.
Right.
And that kind of shows, like, also that Alan and McClane at this point are, fire tested buddies. Like, they are buddy cops now.
I have a theory that may or may not apply.
Yeah.
But
go.
how think about these two endings when a similar things happen, and just how closely they kind of mirror each other.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the shooting with Al, when Al shoots the guy to protect John and his wife. Sure. And then think about the end of Lethal Weapon. When the dude is beat, he jumps up, grabs the gun from the cop, and shoots the guy, and both Marty and Roger shoot him.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Those scenes are very close, and Lethal Weapon came out before Die Hard. So I'm wondering if that wasn't an inspiration for that scene.
Very possible. Yeah, that's absolutely not that would not surprise me at all. Yeah. But I mean, it kind of works though, because it's like basically at this point, and I kind of like the way, like, you get a guy like Reginald Bell Johnson, as Al, who, is just not hardened at all. And he's like the opposite of Danny Glover's character in a lot of ways, and yet it absolutely works as a perfect contrast to McClane.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It worked really well. It worked really well. And that particular scene, I almost thought it was downplayed though, because that was a huge moment for Al's character.
Yeah.
And I mean, they basically played it off with, they had a moment where they looked at each other and then they just kind of walked off, and that was the end of it. And I was like, dude, that was a huge freaking moment for him. He just killed somebody for you. And you're just like, don't even say thank you. You're just like, gave you an appreciative nod. I'm leaving now.
he's just doing the Bruce Willis thing. Yeah.
I'm just saying, if I came back and shot somebody and if I had been Al in that situation, I would have wanted a little bit more than maybe a look. That's all I'm saying.
I will also add that in that case, nobody would have been driving off because there would have been too much paperwork.
Oh yeah.
Like we have to have witness reports that the shooting was justified. But you know what? There's so many things in this movie where logic is kind of like brushed aside casually for things to be satisfying. And we want to see Bruce and Bonnie Bedelia go into the Argyle's car and kind of drive off into the sunset. Happy trails.
Right. I will say that it wasn't. It was still done well though.
Yeah.
I like it wasn't in such a way that it took me out of the moment. There wasn't a moment in the movie where I was like, okay, well now I have to put myself back in the story again. It wasn't like that at all.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where as an audience, we want to see certain things, and because of that, we're kind of willing to forgive certain inconsistencies, and this is definitely one of them. This is not one of those movies where you need strict story logic at all. This is one of those movies where you want to see people die in big explosive ways, and then the hero ride in the sunset, having done his work, and that's exactly what happens.
Oh yeah.
Any other performances strike you?
Any other performances that strike me? Let's see.
I have one in mind, but I'll let you do it.
I don't think so. Not really.
Okay.
I mean,
then I'll do mine.
Everybody did well. I'm not saying that anybody did bad. I just those are really the only ones that jumped out at me.
Yeah, because we already talked about William Atherton, who is like the most punchable guy in the room. The guy who played Ellis, I thought was really good at playing him this smarmy character. All of that, and of course Rickman is Alan Rickman. I mean,
he's a legend for a reason.
Yeah. And keep in mind, like, this movie established a lot of those legends. Like, Bruce Willis had been around before that. He had done Moonlighting. He was in other movies like
there was a whole thing when people announced that Bruce Willis was doing this. It was similar to when the reaction when people found out that Michael Keaton was going to play Batman. They're like, Mr. Mom is going to play Batman? What are you talking about? It was a similar thing with Bruce Willis when they found out about Die Hard.
Yeah, and this movie basically made his entire career, as an action star, and on top of that, he could be a really good actor in his own understated way. I really liked him in Sixth Sense and Unbreakable. I mean, those kinds of movies, I think, showed a lot of more depth than what you're normally used to from him. He's just one of those actors where you're just so used to seeing him as an action star in big letters that you sometimes kind of miss the fact that he can actually act.
I don't know if this hit you while you were watching it, but it hit me, and this was obviously because it only happened here within the last several months or whatever. But Bruce Willis is completely unable to even remember that he was an actor, let alone how good he was, what a legend he is.
I was actually about to mention that, and that's what saddens me a lot. Like,
that hit me hard this time when I was watching it. I was like, damn, he doesn't even remember this.
Yeah, I mean, degenerative diseases like Alzheimer's will really mess you up, and I can absolutely believe that he's in this situation. I don't think he's going to last much longer, to be honest. from at least not from what I've heard, or at least read in sources. But yeah, it's he's one of the three top action stars of all time. Him, Stallone, and Schwarzenegger,
Right.
are the biggest action stars of all time. And and you go from that to not remembering anything and having to be run around like in a chair and all of this. It's just, it saddens me. He deserved better.
Mhm.
And it kind of sucks that he had to be in a lot of movies that were undeserving of his talents just to support him like in his final days, when he really needed the money for his medical treatments.
Yeah. Yeah, that
You know?
that just I don't know. I've known about this stuff going on with him for a while now, and it didn't really hit me until I watched Die Hard again.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah, because
will
this
say
is Bruce
this.
Willis out of his prime,
Yeah.
This is what we lost.
But I will say that at least from what I have seen, and I'm not keeping up on everything, but he might not remember these things, but I have seen many videos of him smiling and happy. Whatever he does remember, he seems to be happy, and that was at least a little comfort.
Yeah, I'm glad for that. And sometimes, having you like that, you forget all the bad stuff, and sometimes there are things like my grandfather suffered from Alzheimer's, and like he forgot that he smoked. So towards the end of his life, he had stopped smoking because he didn't remember that he had.
Like Jupiter's mom in Watchmen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sally Jupiter's. Yeah.
No matter how dark the past was, eventually you're going to look back on it fondly with rose-tinted glasses. Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, you get a lot of really. You get him. Oh yeah, this movie also established Alan Rickman. Rickman was not really well known at the time.
Really?
And this movie put him on the map as well. So this kind of led him to doing one of your favorite roles, the Sheriff of Nottingham and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Yeah. Nice. So yeah, it's like both of a lot of the major actors were in this. It made Reginald Vell Johnson's career. And I will also say that there was one other person that I wanted to mention that we haven't even talked about, and most people would not know. Clarence Gilliard, the guy who played Theo, was major supporting character in Walker, Texas Ranger. So he was, I forget who the character's name was, but he was basically Chuck Norris's sidekick in that movie, in that show. And you would not know to look at him because the Theo character is very, very different.
Oh yeah, you don't look at that guy and think, you know what, you could stand next to Chuck Norris. You just don't.
Most people can't.
But granted, my only real perspective, I didn't watch Walker, Texas Ranger, so my only perspective of him is from that movie. So that'd be.
I only watched a little bit here and there, and that's mainly because relatives. There were my aunt watched it occasionally.
Right, I watched it.
And I like the theme song. The theme song is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also watched that. What is it? The Renegade show. But still, that was it was when it came on TV and somebody else was doing it.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a pretty comprehensive coverage of that. Okay, I guess we can kind of move on from that then. What do you think of the action and the effects?
I thought the effects were great, and they were done in a way that I thought, like for instance, when they shot up all the glass, you didn't actually have to show his feet being all just, because they would have just been hamburger after running through that. But you didn't. The fact they just had to show that and show him running across it, and we basically did the special effects in our mind when they showed him. Oh, they just showed him with his foot up, some blood on his foot, and him pulling a couple pieces out of his foot. That did all of that scene, and we did most of it in our head.
It was so well implied. I think they definitely took a page from the Hitchcock school where it's like they give you just enough so that you can imagine the rest. And anything you can imagine is going to be worse than what they could actually show. And I think that and all I was thinking was, oh my God, this guy Bruce Willis had to go like to the doctor for weeks after running around like bare feet all over the place, after jumping around, after getting blown up, after getting burned up, and like having like jagged pieces of glass in your feet for God knows how long, bleeding out of your feet for God knows how long, and picking up God knows what, like running all over the floor. Like he had to have spent like a while in the hospital.
I'm gonna have to say different on that one.
Okay.
The glass on the floor was most likely rubber or something like that, so it didn't actually hurt his feet.
Yeah.
It was just
not the actual actor. I was talking about McClane as a character.
Okay. You said Bruce Willis, so
yeah. Okay, fair. Yeah. Bruce the actor was probably fine.
Right.
John McClane the character was probably messed up for weeks.
Oh yeah. I'll bet you there was probably some permanent damage done there. Perhaps some tendon or ligament damage that might have happened.
Yeah, he would have needed some physical therapy for a while.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about having to rip that gun that he duct taped to his back off his. How much would that hurt? Just. Let's hope he didn't have any hair on his back, right?
Like it would have been like a 40-year-old virgin, yeah.
Right?
Yes. Like
right.
And I'm telling you would not have a straight shot pulling that out, like with all that tape on your back.
Oh no, and honestly, it was so low in his back. I mean, imagine how far he would have had to reach down to reach that thing, right? I mean,
yeah. But it is one of those, again, it's one of those moments where you just don't care.
You just go with it, yeah.
So well, the whole thing where Bruce and Rickman are just like laughing it up while Bruce is like this, kind of reaching for his gun, like waiting for his moment to shoot him, and it's just like, and it's just absolutely perfect. And he gets 2 shots off, not just one, which I'm just like, yeah. It's ridiculous, but you know what? He's an action movie star.
Right? Getting more shots off than you're supposed to is an action movie cliche, and I dig it.
Yeah, it absolutely is. This is one of those cases where it's like, okay, it's a ridiculous trope, but you know what? Go for it. Because it's emotionally satisfying. Yeah. And this is just one of those things that's with action movies, like it does that.
The only trope I don't like in action movies that really just kind of grates me is the ones, and these are particularly true of 80s movies and some 70s movies, where you get 20 bad guys with automatic weapons firing away at this guy and nobody hits him.
Yeah.
I mean, like, all the bad guys apparently in Hollywood universe are horrible shots, including stormtroopers. Like they took their lesson from stormtroopers.
They went to Stormtrooper Academy is what I was about to say. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you can go and disappear into that grate, and of course there are grates big enough for you to crawl through. They don't exist, but you don't care because it's cool,
right?
It's just cool.
But so, these are points that kind of add to what we were saying, though. Like that these things can exist in the movie, but somehow it doesn't matter with this. It doesn't take you out of it. It doesn't ruin it with this.
No, it doesn't. Like, I'm able to point out all kinds of things that technically are wrong.
Right.
But it just doesn't feel wrong when it's done this well and it's done with this much heart. I think that's a lot of it. There's a lot of heart in this.
Oh yeah. All
right. Okay. So I think we're doing pretty good. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
We doing the review section here?
We are. Yes.
Okay.
Do you have a score for it?
Are we doing out of 10 again? Okay.
10, yeah.
I honestly don't. As we've discussed, there are flaws in this movie, but
There
they
are.
just don't frickin' matter.
That's right.
It
Yeah.
just doesn't. I mean, I got to give it a perfect 10.
I was going to say 9.5, just because I have to acknowledge that there are flaws.
Mm-hmm.
They are not flaws that ruin the movie in any way, but you do have to acknowledge that they're there. So,
Well, all right,
I'm
that's
gonna
fair.
say,
That's fair.
I'm going to say 9.75 does acknowledge where it is. It's like, it's close to perfect, not quite. It doesn't quite get there, but it's really close. And I'm absolutely okay with that. And it gets a star, it gets a stamp of approval.
I'm actually going to start using Die Hard as an example of a movie that can have flaws and still be amazing.
Yeah, and I would say the same for Aliens. And actually, like when we discussed it on Floppy Spoilers with Nem and Bracy and DT, we kind of acknowledged like there's stuff at the end that doesn't quite work, but you don't care because the execution is so good and it's so emotionally satisfying that you don't care. It's exactly the same here.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Hell yeah. Excellent.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, Christmas classic. If you like your Christmas classics to have lots of explosions. Anything else you want to say, Mike, before we close it out?
Just that I wasn't allowed to pick Terrifier 3 as a Christmas movie. That's all.
Well, we may go back to doing more horror next year. But I will say, like, we're going to be taking next week off. I mean, I've got a couple of other episodes that are Christmas themed that I'm going to show throughout the week. But for right now, that's going to be it. Hopefully, Nem will be back with us before too long, but we'll see how he's going. He seems to be doing well. He seems to be having a good time right now, catching up on the things that he's doing, and we wish him the best.
Oh, yeah.
And after that, we're going to be celebrating the public domain when Mike and I come back in a couple of weeks. And I think I have a movie in mind for that, but we will get into that later.
Okay.
So for now, I think we'll just wrap it up. Mike, do you have anything you want to say before we go?
Merry Christmas, folks. Have a good one.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Stay safe, everybody. And until then, enjoy a good movie. And fare thee well.